Welcome back to Energy in Motion, everyone. I'm your host, Ra Kalan, and so excited to have you here with me for this episode. If you have not already subscribed to the channel that you're listening to this on, let me go ahead and give you a very loving reminder to do so. That way, the next time an episode comes out from Energy in Motion, it will be directly delivered to you with no concerns or issues. And then also, if you haven't already started following us on social media, look us up at 3EnMotion on Facebook and on Instagram. And the reason why this is more important now than ever is because we are about to move back to doing bi-weekly episodes. Your girl side hustles are taking off, and I have to carve out some of the editing time I've been using for the podcast to actually directing it towards other business ventures to get paid. I know y'all appreciate and understand that, right? To get paid. So while in the near future, I will be bringing on interns to help with Energy in Motion, for the time being, we will be moving to bi-weekly. So engage with me on Instagram if you have any questions or thoughts about conversations that come up. And you might, because the month of April, we will be doing something a little different, which involves highlighting men. Now, if you've been a fan of Energy in Motion for a while, you know that men are no strangers to this platform. However, I felt lately like men have not had an opportunity to have emotionally intelligent conversations geared towards them. So I want to use this month to kind of switch it up and change that. So the conversations you'll hear me having are with men who I've met who are not only brave enough to come on this show, but were open enough to share about their experiences, whether it's in the scenes of ambition in business or in the relationship game. So make sure that you show them some love and tune into these testosterone-filled talks. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the first guy I get to have great conversations with. His name is Donathan Lamar Howard. Dancer, actor, and just overall artist. You can find him on Instagram at _Lamar1898_. Don and I met at the Black is Powerful shoot that Ian Burse hosted, and he and I hit it off real big. I just appreciated the brother's vibes. I invited him on the show to share about his experience of being encouraged all his life to never give up and to not stop, no matter what. And sometimes how that encouragement came from his amazing support system, but other times how that encouragement had to come from himself. So sit back, relax, enjoy this conversation between Don and I, and make sure that you follow him and me both to let us know what you thought about it. So my first question to you is, how do you feel like you impact the world?
I mean, that's a honest to God great question. Back when I was a kid, I used to always envision myself somehow, some way saving the world. Fun fact, I thought superheroes were real. I thought the Power Rangers existed and protected us during the day, and I thought Batman protected us by night. That's how it was.
They took shifts, yes.
Like that's what I thought it was, and eventually I wanted to do that. I wanted to help save the world. However, when reality hit,
yeah,
I found out heroes really don't wear capes and masks and spandex and carry swords and stuff. Yeah. But nonetheless, I always wanted to find different ways to really just help people. It's always been a goal of mine to be an inspiration to others. So one thing I've always tried to do was to have a decent upkeep on myself. Now, that doesn't mean I've always ran with the right crowd, because I haven't. But it was a certain light I let shine about myself to let people know that if you're with me, you're with me, and I'm going to always hold you down.
Yeah.
And I guess through that, a lot of people started taking a bigger liking to me. And through that, I've just became what people see now as Don, you know. And it hasn't always been bad. It hasn't always been bad at all. But one thing about it is, it does get heavy. As my dance name is indeed King Legacy. Legacy for a reason. I've always been known as the guy that was supposed to eventually step up or take the world on my own, or just when can't nobody else do it no more. There's always Don. He's gonna
look to
going.
Don, yeah.
And I'm just like, well, that does get heavy. It's like, what do you do when the weight of the world is on your shoulders?
That sounds familiar.
And fun fact, it came from a cartoon. You see Green Lantern over there talking about you plant your feet and stand your ground.
Yeah.
And to this day, even though it came from a cartoon, it holds true. I'm like, if a lot of people depend on you, whether it's the world or whether it's just your family, your friends, your fans, however you see it. If the weight of the world is on your shoulders, you can't back down, because that literally may be your calling. If God built you up to have all this strength to be able to carry everybody else, do it.
Yeah.
It's not wise to go against your calling. Now, I get it. Some people may not be mentally ready for it, or their hearts might not be able to take it and things of that nature. But if you know you do, if you know you have the capability of persevering throughout everything and holding everybody down and keeping everybody accountable, let alone together, go for it. Yeah. Why not?
I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he was reciting something from a motivational video. Essentially, fear is something that everybody encounters, no matter what your responsibilities are, no matter what age you are, and especially no matter what gender you are. But especially for men, I feel like when you encounter something that seems out of the comfort zone or that's scary, you always feel like you do have to just take it on. Do you have people who you can lean on and talk to who help you, even though you're going to plant your feet and stand your ground, who help you carry that emotional weight of it? I want y'all to think about that for yourselves, too. If you consider yourself the rock of your family, when the emotional weight becomes a little bit too heavy, who do you go to? Who do you lean on?
I've had a lot of people who I've leaned on over these years. Primarily my boy that I've known for 14 years, Xavier, also known as Leon X the GOAT. I've always been able to really just go to him when things got out of whack. And he always had a weird way of reminding me of who I am and what I'm here to do. So it's always been me and him, or me and my older brother Josh, or rest in peace, my boy Saeed. That's my brother, my rival. Wish he was still here. You have folks like my old youth pastor, who now is a head pastor of his own church. You've had my old mentors from middle school, my old drum teachers from high school and middle school. You just had a lot of people that were placed in my life at certain times, especially when I was going through a hard time in Grambling and I was pushed into the theater department because I needed more classes. I met an amazing theater teacher named Mr. Walker. Mr. C. Walker, one of the best guys of all time. I was having the worst day of all time. I couldn't call nobody, couldn't text nobody because my phone was off. And I was scrambling everywhere, was holding down 2 jobs. It was just a huge mess. But Mr. Walker literally turned on some music and just literally kept telling me, just move. I'm like, okay.
Is this some theater Goodwill Hunting type shit?
At first it was kind of weird, but I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. He was saying, when nothing else fails, just move. You can't sit here and worry about the things that are out of your control and things of that nature, especially when it comes to things that affect you emotionally. Because at the end of the day, these trials and tribulations are temporary. So when it comes to having emotional support, not only do you have to look to yourself, you have to look to everybody else that's around you that's actually for you. Yeah. Now, not everybody who's around you is going to be for you.
Woo, let them know.
But for those that are, you look to them as they look to you.
You build a community. Mm-hmm. And I love that you had that experience at multiple stages of your life, because so many people's story is different, of feeling like, I did have a need and that need went unmet. I did need advice and there wasn't anyone for me to call on. And I think just your general energy, because you're very welcoming, you can tell that you're comfortable with yourself. I think that having men like that in your life or throughout your life has impacted that greatly. So are there any specific messages that you took away that have stuck with you?
Yeah, just don't stop. They always told me, we're dependent on you, and keep pushing forward. One thing that I've always learned from everybody who's ever tried to pour something into me, don't stop. Even if people tell you to stop, even if we tell you to stop, don't stop. These are your dreams, not ours. This is your life that you're trying to live. Go full force with it.
Now, I know I talk a lot about community, but hearing experiences like Don's, where he had family and friends, and even just mentors around him to uplift him throughout his childhood, makes me more adamant than ever that it is so important to have support systems, safety nets, key people in our lives that we can look to and speak to and share our hearts with. We don't have to carry these burdens alone. We literally can't.
And it has been a very, very hard time. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like all of my videos or all of my work or everything that I've done, whether it's in band or when I was in baseball or when I was doing martial arts. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say everything was easy, because it wasn't. But one of those biggest things is when you get knocked down, you get back up.
Yeah, and you're building you, and taking that accountability of yourself lets you know, whether people around you are aware of it or not, that I'm invested in me. And I think that's the part that some people just lose or forget about. They care so much about other people validating them or investing in them that they lose sight over. But I see the shit I'm doing. Like, I am here rooting for me. So having all of the amazing support that you've had, I know has been awesome, and reflecting back to you your worthiness of having that support so you can give it to you too. But it also triggered something in you to start investing in you as well. And you spoke to how it hasn't necessarily always been easy, and maybe not always getting the acknowledgement that you knew you inevitably deserved. But what has been your relationship with feeling like you have been thriving versus sometimes feeling like you're surviving?
Well, when it comes to me feeling like I'm surviving, it was another point in my life to where I was under a lot of stress. I was really, really ready to graduate. And one day I took a picture with my music frat brothers of Phi Mu Alpha, and I noticed I was no longer the skinny guy. That hit me, and it hit me hard, because I'm over here drinking muscle milk, trying to get a little bit more built up top, just because I wanted to go home summer, just trying to
flex on. Yeah.
But the problem was it went straight to my legs and my lower abdomen, and I'm just like, oh no. I'm like, oh Jesus, this is not gonna be okay, because now I was the chubby guy, and I was like, okay, I don't feel like myself anymore. Since I took that picture, I've always been on a mission to either get to the size that I'm at now or better. Another thing with surviving, I've watched a lot of my boys do a lot of amazing things. Before I came back home, I was always watching my partners that are a part of Chuck/FBI.
And tell us more about what Chuck and FBI are.
Well, FBI was a dance group that my boy Cyriston created back when he was a senior in high school, junior in high school, I believe. He brought it to DeSoto and recruited my brother Saeed, my brother Xavier, my brother Mark, and they literally took over the entire school.
Is anyone else getting You Got Served flashbacks, or is it just me?
But when it came to them revamping everything and making Chuck, that was something that they saw as something that needed to thrive rather than survive. The thing was, they had everything they could possibly want in high school, but they wanted more. They wanted to do traveling. They wanted to do more shows. They wanted to get booked for modeling, dancing, acting, you name it. They wanted to do it. But the problem was they wasn't getting the recognition they deserved. They sometimes struggled financially. It was a tough time for everybody. So eventually, everybody gets older. Everybody wises up a bit. But it was that moment, that one moment where a light bulb went off in everybody's head, like, hey, we're still here. We started doing more videos. They started featuring me more whenever I came back home for breaks. And it started once again thriving. Once again going back to the not stopping because you hit certain roadblocks. The one thing that I loved about my family, especially in Chuck, is that no matter what, we was all we got. We dropped everything and danced and everything, whether it was our church shoes, whether we was in muscle tees and baseball shorts or whatever. You named it, we did it. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. But as far as just the thriving and surviving, the differences was when we were surviving, we were making names. We were making plans, laying out blueprints for everything that we wanted to do. Whether it was X trying to shoot, direct, edit all of the videos, whether it was me looking for different places to go battle or to go perform, whether it was Cyrston who wanted to go model somewhere, Saeed trying to travel everywhere. You know, we even had people like Ken being a rapper and a singer. Like, it was just so much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Mark eventually got married and became a huge family man. And it was just so great for us during that surviving period. But while we're thriving, such as right now, you pull out the resumes of everybody and put us up against anybody, and I guarantee you, you're going to want to sign us. You're going to want to book us. You're going to want to see us, not just because of our resumes, but because through our stories, you can see we've already been through our surviving time. Now is our time to thrive.
You better claim that shit, man.
That's why I've just always tried to stay focused. And it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard staying focused while you're thriving, because when you hit a certain place while you're thriving, you think you make it. You
want to settle for a second.
You think you're already there and you kind of just relax for a little bit, but then you notice, I still got to go to a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Say it.
I still got to answer to somebody. I still can't do everything I want to do.
Say it.
So no, I ain't done yet. Yeah. And I tell myself every time I get through working out or get through training or get through labbing on some new dance moves or whatever, I'm not satisfied. And it's not a knock towards myself. I'm just not satisfied until I get to where I need to be. Mm-hmm. Because I know if nobody else is going to make it and I do, that would be enough for the whole family.
Yeah.
And that's literally all I want in life, is for them to eat.
What's your relationship between having that, no, I'm not satisfied, I'm going to keep striving, but also having your own back and validating yourself? Like, what's the balance? How do you keep that so that you're never dogging yourself? Because that's how some people have that negative self-talk and can be abusive towards themselves. But some people really do need that to be their motivation. How do you find the balance?
Honestly, it happens. I go through certain periods where I literally feel low. I feel like sometimes I'm not good enough. I feel like sometimes I'm not where I need to be. And I feel like sometimes maybe I just need to stop. Maybe I just need to stick to my 9 to 5. But then I just get out of myself for a second and I'll go to my job and I'll look at some of the men that are around there and I'll see how some of them are unhappy. I'll see how some of them are super old and not necessarily satisfied, or possibly thinking in their heads, well, what if I could have did this? What if I would have kept going? And through that, I look back at myself and I'm like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
This isn't my stopping point. This isn't where I get off the train.
I mean, this is the key thing. When we start to feel like we're stuck or we're stagnant, we have to be able to pull outside of our own experience to observe what's going on instead of being so emotional about how it's not fair that we have to deal with what's going on. Seeing objectively the patterns and behavior of people around us in similar situations and what makes us different than the people next to us. It comes down to our connection to ourselves, to that higher calling, and if we are willing to answer it.
So when it comes to balancing out my emotions, honestly, I listen to music.
Music therapy?
I'll pull out my drumsticks. I'll start playing on the drum pad a little bit or whatever I can find. And I just relax myself. Or I'll go chill with the fellas, go play my GameCube or the PS4. Yes, I did say the Nintendo GameCube.
Yes.
But I always try to use these things as a relaxer, because if I don't, it's not that I'm going to go crazy. It's more over of Certain emotions can overwhelm you if you let it.
Say it one more time for him, Don.
Only if you let it. So I'll listen to Erykah Badu. I'll listen to Ludacris, Missy Elliott. I'll listen to T.I. I'll listen to T-Pain. I'll listen to Lil Wayne and a whole bunch of people I used to listen to back in the day. Like,
you talking 90s, early
like
2000s?
Busta Rhymes, Nelly.
Yes.
You name it, I'll probably done listen to it a few times. But I do that just because I'm like, those memories of when I heard the periods I've heard these songs, it brings back the memories of why I started to begin with. And once you remember why you started,
you can keep going.
You're gonna keep going. This
is a key aspect in acquiring and achieving anything you want. Being able to keep up with what was the original passion, what was the original connection you had to this mission that made you want to achieve or accomplish it in the first place. That's why people vision board. That's why people keep journal entries over their accomplishments or their day in, day out goals, just so that they can make sure I am actually moving towards what I care about. So, is there any message that you wish that young Donathan had or heard that you now are making it a mission to spread to other people? You were told don't stop. You were told keep moving. Is there a message that you now have learned that you wish you had heard and that you're spreading to other people?
This isn't the end. This is only the beginning. And one of these days, when you're big and strong, you will be a king. Pick and choose your battles and trust wisely. I would tell my young self that it's okay. I get it. You hate being picked on. You get tired of all the crap you've been through at home and et cetera, et cetera. I get it. But go to school.
Hone your craft.
Hone it. And hone it real good. Hone it to the point to where can't nobody tell you nothing because you know what you're gonna do inside and out. Whether it's music, whether it's dancing, whether it's acting, or whether you're trying to be a backstage producer, a director, you're trying to own the music production team, you're trying to be a music scorer, whatever. Invest in yourself. Or even if you're just doing it for fun, do it for fun, man. Do it because you love it. Do it for you. That's what I would tell my younger self.
I want to thank you for coming on the show, Don.
Oh, no problem at all.
You got anything coming up?
Yeah. I actually have a performance tomorrow with my Gremlin mentor, Cheesy. He hasn't given me too much details on the whereabouts yet. So that's why I haven't really just started spilling out there or anything. But I am working on a few solo videos because my birthday is coming up.
Okay.
April 28th.
Come on.
You know, but I wanted to create a video. This video is going to be something special because I always, like I said earlier, do a lot of things that show how I feel about the people I carry, you know, when I do things. But this one is going to be for me. So you're going to see a lot of things from my past in this video that'll just be flashing across the screen, whether it's old baby pictures. Don't y'all laugh at my baby pictures. Or some stuff from when I was a kid, stuff with me and my family, you know, just things that'll really give you a grasp of everything that I've had, everything that I went through, everything that I became, and most of all, where I'm going. It'll literally give you the birth of the art that came from my body into the world.
Damn. Well, then y'all need to check that out. Is it going to be accessible on your Instagram, _Lamar 1898 _?
Oh, yeah. _Lamar 1898 _. It'll be available on my Instagram. It'll be available on my Facebook, both the Legacy Performing Artist page and the Don Howard page. It'll be available on all streaming websites that I can think of. And if it ain't, somebody come kick me in the nads because more than likely I lost my mind.
Well, then we want to thank you, Don, for showing up on Energy in Motion, and we're excited for everything that comes out in April.
No problem at all.
I want to thank Don for coming on the show and being so awesome and so open about his experiences of continuing to push forward. So thankful for all of what you're going to contribute to the rest of society as you leave your mark, brother. So all of you who tuned in, I am so excited for what I have to bring with my next guest coming up the week after next. Trust me, I will keep you updated, so make sure that you follow us at 3InMotion on Instagram and Facebook so that you know which Thursdays to be looking for episodes, and just so that I can hear from you. Do not think that just because I don't have time to edit, I don't have time to talk. Reach out so that I can make sure that you're doing well in the midst of all of what's going on in our world. So as always, Energy in Motion family, I'm here, and you get to feel whatever you may feel, and you will always, always deserve to heal. Peace.